Oh, cheers for 27k subs, lads. To celebrate, I'm going to give you guys exactly what you've been asking for lately. You guys want a 3-tier flipping guide, so that is what I'm going to do for you guys. How to flip with a small, medium and large bank value. Size does not matter when it comes to flipping. We're going to put all that in this video, but before we do, I just have to flex a wee bit so you guys know what I'm talking about. In the last video, I showed you guys how I'd made over 800 million GP flipping, which is not bad at all, but we didn't stop there. I went on from that video to pull my biggest ever day, 98 million GP profit flipping in one day, which is pretty insane. Then didn't play for 2 days and my flipping profit still went up to 948 mil. We've almost made 1 billion GP flipping on this account alone. I actually do have 2 flipping alts. So there you go, just thought I'd flex just a little bit. I'm usually quite humble, but if you're watching a guide, you want the person making the guide to know what they're talking about, and your boy Bekt has been killing it. So we're going to jump straight into this. I'm going to do 1 mil, 100 mil and 1 billion bank value. We're going to flip with all three. I'm going to explain passive flipping, value flipping and lowballing, just tell you guys how to make bank. Hopefully at the end of this you guys can do the same things. Yeah, let's jump straight into it. Alright, here we go. 1 mil bank value. Now a lot of people would say it's pointless to flip with just 1 mil, but they'd be completely wrong. Even if you only have 500k in the bank in RuneScape, you should be doing something called passive flipping. If you take one thing away from this video, let it be passive flipping, because it is absolutely awesome. It's high volume items that you can do all the time. You can put these offers in the Grand Exchange and just leave them 24/7, don't worry about them. You can probably do like 5 buy offers and 1 sell offer, so you do need to leave 1 G slot open just for getting rid of all the items as they buy. So yeah, this here is super easy, it takes no time at all, and it makes you between 500k to 2.5 mil per day. Alright, so how do we get started? What we want to look for is really cheap items with really high volumes. You might only get 1 or 2 GP profit on the items, but because you can trade so many of them so quick, turns out to make absolute bank. There's a few examples on screen, but there's actually loads of these items. It's just like ammo, food, anything that's cheap that has high trade volumes, you can passively flip. I'd say about 250 million GP profit of my profit there is from passive flipping. It makes you money when you're sleeping, makes you money when you're not playing the game. It's pretty damn sweet, and to work out your best margins, you kind of want to watch the speed that items fill, if that makes sense. If they fill too fast, actually drop them by a couple of GP. If they fill kind of slow within the 4 hours, because everything in Grand Exchange goes in 4 hours, your buy limits reset every 4 hours, so you can do it 6 times a day. So yeah, as long as they're buying within 4 hours, the price is fine. If they're buying within 5 minutes, probably increase your margins a wee bit. But yeah, there's a few. I'm just going to leave these for a while and they'll show you the profit on passive flips. Oh boys, I love passive flips. Have a look at that. It's been 8 hours time since it started, but I've only spent 2 minutes at the Grand Exchange. 1 minute putting in all these offers, and then 1 update after the 4 hour mark, and now just collecting them. The saltpeter's actually selling at 5. It's pretty slow, but if I leave that in at 5, it will sell. So we've got about, it says 152k profit in the price check, which is like 15% of our bank value with 2 minutes gameplay, which is pretty good. But because the saltpeter and the pure essence haven't sold, it's actually about 200k profit. So we made 20% on our bank value starting out in the first few hours with about 2 minutes gameplay, which is just pretty awesome. In that 8 hours, I could have been doing any other moneymaker in the game and just would have ramped up with this profit. And the good thing about passive flips, it gets much better as your bank value grows. Eventually you can do cannonballs, you can do Zulrah scales, you can do them big ones, and if you have 5 of them in 24/7, 6 times a day they're updating, it ends up ramping up and getting you like 1 or 2 mil per day with no effort. Oh boys, there it is, 100 mil bank value. We've been passive flipping for a few weeks, we've done a bit of bossing, we've made some bank, and we are now up over 100 mil. At this stage you still want to do passive flipping, it's just super easy, makes you a load of money, pays for your bonds, and makes some disgusting profit on top. So you definitely want to leave a few G slots doing that. But now you can start doing value items, you can do weapons, armor, gear, low volume items that have high rates of return. There's thousands of these in the game, so I'm not going to make a list for these, but you guys know what they are. If they don't have a crazy high volume, they're value items, you know, stuff like claws, stuff like that. Now a few weeks ago, if you wanted to do high value flipping, what you had to do is buy 1 of that item to see what price people were paying for them, then sell it, and you'd lose a wee bit of money, then you'd make your money back by flipping them for a while when you knew the margins, or when you knew roughly what the margins were. But a few weeks ago, RuneLite, which is the main client that everybody used, started to feed all of their users buy and sell offer data into the OSRS wiki. So now you'll find an item you like the look of, an item you want to flip, you'll go over to that item in the wiki and you'll scroll down to view real-time prices. When you click this, you do not need to price check, you don't need to lose any money. Nowadays, all you need to do is go over to the wiki, check the margins here. There's 135k margin on the clause. So you just flip them for like 134k profit. Just cut a wee bit off the buy offer and a wee bit off the sell offer and make some bank. Value flipping at the minute is just crazy profit. You will struggle to lose money. The only way you could lose money when you can see the real-time prices is if that item crashes really fast, and would have to crash more than your margin as well. So it'd have to crash by a lot and really quick, so you'd need to be extremely unlucky to lose money value flipping. And if you just consistently do it all the time, you will always make profit over time, even if you get stung once in a blue moon. So now that you have over 100 mil, you can combine the two methods. You can do passive flipping and value flipping. Overnight you want to do low balling, so if you're flipping something during the day, add an extra like 4 or 5% to the margin, leave that offer in overnight, and sometimes it will fill. What you don't want to do is leave the same margin overnight, because prices do fluctuate in a lot of these big items. They can go up, they can go down. So what you want to do, if you're leaving your computer for a long period of time, is put in lowball offers about 5 or 10% lower than what you've been paying. Then if that item crashes, you make profit instead of losing money. So lowballs are always a good idea. Anyway, now that you can do this, you can make probably 1 mil per hour at the Grand Exchange, which makes a lot of the other money makers in the game not worth doing, apart from Boston and maybe Zulra, high level content. When you first get into value flipping, it is going to be a lot of effort. Well, it might not seem like a lot of effort compared to some of the other money makers in the game, but you'll have to update your GE offers a lot more, way more than passive flipping. Passive flipping you're doing maybe, you know, 2 or 3 times a day. With value flipping and a low bank value, 100 mil is still pretty low. It's a medium bank value, I'd say. You do have to update it quite often. Like say you're doing Dragon Claws, you can only afford 1 pair of Dragon Claws. When they buy, you need to put in a sell offer. When they sell, you need to put in a buy offer. But if you had say 250 mil or something, you could put in a buy offer for 5 sets of Dragon Claws, then you sell 5 sets of Dragon Claws. It's the same profit as you would get when you've got this lower bank value, but it is 5 times less work. So as your bank grows, this gets much easier, much less effort. And yeah, it's just pretty sweet, and it gives you access to some of the bigger ticket items like Inquisitors. Some of them can get you 1 million profit per flip. The Volatile Orb the other day, I think it was 194 mil, and it was selling for 198. 4 million profit per flip. That was when I got my 98 mil day. I got like 4 of them in for 4 mil profit each, which is pretty crazy. I actually think 1 or 2 of them was like 3.2. Alright, so as you guys can see, flipping from 100 mil up to 1 bill bank value is super easy, barely an inconvenience. All you need to do is a bit of passive flipping and a bit of value flipping and you will get there. It will take you a while, I'm not saying it's super fast, definitely takes a bit of time to make all that money, but it isn't that difficult just with flipping, and if you combine it with Boston or any other money maker in the game, you'll get there pretty quick. You'd be surprised how quick it flies up. This just compounds with any other money maker in the game and gets you there quite fast. Alright, before we jump in to the really juicy flipping the 1 bill plus and all the tricks you can do with it, let me tell you guys about some useful utilities for flipping. This video is not sponsored in any way, they're just quite good for finding margins, finding profit, even just for finding items if you can't think of any. So there's 2 websites, Platinum Tokens, which is the one I use. I like the kind of dark layout of it. It's pretty sick for finding items, shows graphs of all the items in RuneScape over the past few months, and the other website is G-Tracker, yeah, the other one's called G-Tracker. Them 2 websites do the exact same thing. G-Tracker, Platinum Tokens, really good for flipping. Another one I want to tell you guys about is Flipping Utilities plugin. So it's a plugin on RuneLite. It doesn't come automatic, you do have to download it from the old plugin hub, but it's pretty awesome. It shows all the margins you've made and all the statistics you can check for your session. I just got on, so mine's not. Or for all time. We're closing in on the 1 billion mark, which is pretty sweet. You can track all your items, you can favorite items. It shows the rate of return, how much margins you made on them. Also shows what you have in your slots, but I actually don't like this because you can't see them all in one screen. I use the regular one. Let me just scroll over so you can see. I rather the regular one that comes with RuneLite to check what you've got going on in the Grand Exchange at the minute, because here you have to scroll, whereas there they're all in one place. I think that's automatic. I think you get that as soon as you download RuneLite. But the Flipping Utilities one is awesome for stats. So yeah, those 3 are pretty good. I'm going to tell you about one more though. There's a flopper bot on our Discord that one of the boys made, and it's pretty sick. Let me show you it real quick. Right, so here we are over in Discord. Some big brain made us this like Discord plugin bot, what do you call these things? Yeah, Discord bot that checks all the prices on the wiki and generates them for you, so you can check any price of any item without going to the wiki. You just need to type in !price and then the item, and then it'll return the same prices. Just means you don't have to flick through loads of places or open your browser. You can also make graphs, daily graphs for any item in the game to show every single buy and sell offer. You can check the volume with this thing. You can check the graphs per week as well by putting a wee W at the end. Let's see if we can find one. Yeah, there's like Zulrah scales for the day, Zulrah scales for the week, just by sticking a wee W at the end. For graph, it's exclamation mark graph, but all the commands are pinned in there. So super easy to use, free to use as well, and it is super useful. So yeah, that's pretty awesome. Anyway, let's crack on with the juicy stuff, how to flip with 1 billion GP plus. Here we go, boys. 1 bill plus. We can now flip some of the biggest items in the game for some crazy profit margins. Now you look at this, the biggest margins in the game at the minute. Probably thinking I'll just flip some 30-inch cloaks a few times at 130 mil profit each. Sounds pretty sweet. But some of those 30-inch items are extremely slow. They might take a couple of days to sell. There's only like maybe 4 or 5 flip per day on some of them, so you might be waiting a week for your flip to come in. So I'm going to show you guys the best items in the game to flip if you get rich. Now this list will change quite a bit over time, but it just gives you guys an idea of what you want to look for. So what you want is high margin items with high volume. This is the best items in the game at the minute, considering the margin and the volumes. And it's quite a strange list. Like, have a look just past halfway down there. Adamant darts are above volatile orb. It's just because they have such a massive volume and so many of them go through the Grand Exchange every single day. You can see the volume there. So yeah, when you flip something, you want to consider the volume, so you know how fast them items are likely to buy and sell. Don't just go for the highest margins. Always consider the volume, because if something goes much faster and it's like 4 times lower margin, it might still be a better item if it's much quicker. And if you want to maximize your profit, you definitely want to go with quick items. But yeah, you start flipping high margin items with really high volumes, trade volumes, and you will easily make 4 to 5 mil per hour with a 1 bill starting pot. You know, what you could also do is bond up a flipping alt, put a wee bit of money on him, and that will just boost it as well. If you have 12 slots instead of 6, you can make a lot more money. Eventually you can get, with a couple of flipping alts, more money than you can get at all the high level bosses in old school RuneScape, which is pretty crazy. Flipping is one of, if not the best money makers in the game. If you have this kind of bank value, you can also do bulking, which is quite funny. There was a dude started bulking purple sweets a few months ago. Bulk bought them from 5k up to 9.5k, probably paid about an average of 6 or 7k, and then he sold 1 million purple sweets on the forums there, in the old school RuneScape forums, for 10 bill. Probably like 3.5 bill profit if his average buy price was like 6.5 or something. You could bulk buy any item for a few months, and I am pretty sure some collector would buy them. The collectors buy anything if you've got enough of it, which is pretty crazy. You can check them out on the forums, or there's some CCs for like collectors and bulkers and stuff like that. So that's another thing you can do, but we're going to stick to flipping in this video. Let's jump straight into flipping with 1 billion GP. Alright, I was just selling a few items, getting back to 1 bill cash stack in this account for this wee 1 hour or so of flipping. But I done something there that I do kind of naturally. It's a cool wee trick you can do if you've got a big bank value, but I should really tell you guys about it actually. So I was flipping Serpentine Helms yesterday, and somebody cut my profit margins overnight. I bought over 100 of them overnight. Yesterday I was getting 53k profit per Serpentine Helm, which is really good, but today somebody undercut me down to 9k profit on each of the Serpentine Helms. Now if you're per, or a lot of people just don't know about this, if somebody has undercut you, most people would just sell at this price. But if you have enough money, you can just buy out that offer and a couple of offers above that offer to increase the margin, to reset the margin really. If you've got enough money, you can reset your margins, which you can do when you're rich to get that 50k profit margin again, or whatever profit margin you want. If you have enough money, you can do that. If you're per, you can't. And as you guys can see, I reset the margin there back up to 53k profit each, and they are selling. So there we go, really strange tip. If you're trying to sell something and somebody undercuts you by a lot, like ruins the margin, you can actually just buy more of it or clear his offer out, buy more of that item before selling. I know when you're trying to sell an item, buying more doesn't seem like the right thing to do, but this works on a lot of the lower volume items, so it's definitely worth letting you guys know about it. Anyway, let's crack on with flipping with 1 bill. Oh boys, I just recorded like 2.5 minutes of audio there without actually clicking record. I was just talking to myself. Anyway, we are now over 1 billion cash stack, and I'm going to have to record this audio again, but that is no problem. What we're going to do is flip for 1 hour with 1 bill and see how much money we get. It is only morning time now, it's off peak, so it is much slower, all the flips I'll be getting. But when it's morning time, you can actually get much higher margins. Everything's much more volatile because there's less people trading. You can make up crazy margins. Like, just to try prove this, I'm going to try do a 2 mil plus flip on a scythe. So crazy high margin. It might not come in, but if it does, just shows like in the morning time you can easily get 1 mil plus and loads of items, because there are much less people flipping, you know, much less people trading even for that matter. But everything is slower, and then during peak time you want to go make your margins a bit smaller because everything's traded a lot faster. 500k in a scythe in the evening is great, you know, because you can trade so many. 500k in a scythe in the morning is not that great. You want to go 1 mil plus. So yeah, what I'm trying to get across to you guys, if you're flipping off peak time, make your margins bigger because everything's slower. If you're flipping at peak time, yeah, just fire everything through the grand exchange as quick as possible with low margins and you'll make some bank. I'm going to jump through this hour and just jump in at times, give you guys some updates, see how much we make. And yeah, I'll catch you in the next clip. Alright, so just before I started this hour, I relogged, so the wee timer at the bottom there where it says 2 minutes, that's accurate. It'll show you all the way up to 60 minutes on the wee timer at the bottom. Some Zoller scales are already bought. You don't really need to be actively flipping these, you can just leave the offers in 24/7. They're a good passive one to do, but they're so fast that if you are actively trying to flip, you may as well do them anyway. Oh lads, I've done it again, chatting away without clicking record. I don't know what's going on today. Anyway, 9 minutes in, all we had bought was the Zoller scales, but they did all sell and we got 90k profit. 10 minutes in, we managed to buy some blood runes, some adamant darts, and have a look at this one. Our big boy offer finally fills the scythe. Now, I'd lowballed this scythe, looked at the prices in the wiki, I put an offer in 1.2 million GP lower than that, because in the mornings everything's much slower. You can do that in the mornings, and often it will fill. Not all the time, somebody might have an offer in for like 4 or 5 scythes and you might be waiting like an hour for it to come in, but it is much more likely to come in the morning. Low balls, you know, cheeky offers, because the price just fluctuates a lot more in the morning time. So if this thing sells, we get 2.4 million GP profit. That's only 0.5 rate of return though, 0.5% on your investment, which is not that high. There are other items that give much higher, but it's a 2.4 mil flip. You know, if it comes in, it's pretty sweet. And here we go, boys, only 13 minutes in. We've only got 300k profit under the belt so far with them scales and stuff, but the scythe came through, kicking us up to over 2.7 million GP profit, which is pretty awesome. Flip some blood runes, flip some addy darts, flip the owl scales, and then that there scythe flip for 2.44 mil profit. Now if you do make a big flip like that, what you want to do is put another offer in, but never at the same prices, because people can see your offers, and a lot of the times people undercut you or overcut you by 1 GP, so always add or take away a tiny bit. A few GP is good, but if you can do 1 or 2k and it doesn't really affect the margin too much, like in this scythe, you should definitely do that. It just means you're not going to get undercut or overcut. You'll just get more trades in a day if you do that, so it's definitely a good tip to do. Always add or take a wee bit away from your margins. I left the offer back in for the scythe, but it does not fill within the hour, so we didn't pull off 2 of them. We did manage to pull off a couple more juicy claw flips, like 50k, 100k. I think we got a couple in at 150k margin, which is quite nice as well. After the full 1 hour flipping, we managed to get 3.75 mil. Pretty respectable, better than most bosses in the game. But I'm going to be honest with you guys, I was expecting that number to be a wee bit higher. I know 3.7 mil is awesome, it's like pretty cool profit per hour, but I was thinking it'd be higher. Reason being is I usually don't flip like this. Usually I just stick in the offers, chill out for like 20 minutes, half an hour, and then update them, and I still get about 3 mil per hour. So sitting here watching it didn't really increase my margins much. So that brings us to our final tip of the day. With flipping, you don't want to sit here and actively spend your whole time at it. Just want to put in the offers, chill out for a bit, give them some time to fill, then put them into sell, give them a wee bit of time again, and you will still get a similar amount of profit per hour. If you want to maximize your profit, if you want to sit here and update it every single time, having multiple accounts will definitely help you out, or maybe doing it at peak time would be better. There we go, bit of a long video, but we have covered a lot in this one. We covered passive flipping, value flipping, a bit on lowballing and bulking, and volumes, everything you guys need to start flipping, and then a lot of it you just pick up along the way. You start to notice items and patterns. If you flip an item for long enough, you know how it kind of trades throughout the day, and then you can just make a killing on it. So yeah, I'm really enjoying flipping at the minute, and hope this guide helps you guys get into it. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you've made it this far, maybe whack a wee comment in or click some of them buttons below for the algorithms. And yeah, I will see you in the next video very soon. Take it easy. Bye.